Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 30 of the Together We Grow podcast. My name's Paul,
And I'm Tamer.
and this is the Home Fragrance Academy. This is where we teach home fragrance business owners how to start, grow, and scale their home fragrance businesses based on our years of experience doing it ourselves. And we love working one-to-one with lots of home fragrance business owners, don't we?
We certainly do. It just fills us with so much pride to see other businesses growing, doesn't it?
Certainly does, yeah. So this is episode 30, and it's going to be slightly different to normal. We're going to be talking about customer care and how to offer the best customer care possible and deal with some tricky situations. Again, based on all of our experience in doing this, but it's going to be slightly different because this is going to be a Q&A session. You're going to ask me questions
Yep.
for me to answer, and obviously you're going to have a bit of an input on there as well. I haven't actually gone through the questions in detail, so some of them are going to be a bit of a surprise to me. But should be fun. Shall we crack on?
Let's do it. Okay, this episode 30, was suggested by one of our members in our Facebook community group, Ola. So she's given me loads of detailed questions about things she'd love to have covered in a podcast all about customer care. So I thought if I do it more of a Q&A version this way, it's sort of an interesting way to do it, I thought.
Yeah, certainly is. I mean, why not? She's giving us questions, so we can answer those. I think customer care, see, when you start a business, any business really, but we're talking about home fragrance here. You're excellent at making your products, but you have to be everything, don't you? You have to be the marketing person, the finance person, the customer care person, all this kind of stuff. And you're expected to know how to respond to people when they have issues and questions. But of course, you're not a customer care person. You probably haven't had that experience before. So now you're trying to deal with it. I can understand it's really tricky. And we were very, very lucky at Cozy Aromas. We had an exceptional review rate and Trustpilot score, and our customer care was really fantastic. Of course, you get people that are upset from time to time. That's always going to happen, especially as you scale up. You're never going to please everyone.
No, that's impossible.
And what you do find is the grumpiest people are typically the loudest as well in all of the online Facebook groups.
They're always the loudest.
Always the loudest, aren't they? But yeah, when you look at the business as a whole, it had an exceptional customer care rate because we did put a lot of time and effort into it. So yeah, I mean, let's crack on with some of these questions, shall we?
Let's dive straight in then. Okay, question number 1. In general, how do you deal with difficult customers, especially when it comes to typical questions with a subject such as, I can't smell anything and the product didn't last very long?
So you mean subjective, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, subjective. No, okay. So basically, when a customer says that they can't smell something or it doesn't last as long as they expected it to, well, that's probably one of the most trickiest ones because it is subjective. When you've launched your products, you've gone through all of the tests you should have done anyway. We certainly did, where we've tested it in multiple rooms with multiple different burners. Multiple people have done these tests. Our employees have taken them away and done tests as well. So there's loads of tests for everyone. And we know that they've ticked all of the boxes. Otherwise, we would be launching them. But then when someone says, oh, I can't smell anything. My nose is right over the burner. I can't smell anything. That was one of those really frustrating comments that I used to see or questions. Because you're like, how can you? I don't understand it. But it is subjective. Everyone's different. Everyone's nose is different, all this kind of stuff. And honestly, and I think this will be the theme throughout most of these answers, these questions, is you need to do everything possible to make that customer happy.
Yep.
Okay, because, and this is from our experience as well, we used to get, mainly me, before we hired people to look after customer care, used to get quite defensive on this kind of stuff. And used to say to them, look, they're using the wrong wax warmer, or they're using 4-hour tea light or 6-hour tea lights instead of 4 hours, or whatever it was, the tall ones where it gets too hot and it burns off the fragrance more. I used to get quite defensive about it, and then they would get unhappy, so you probably wouldn't have them as a customer anymore. But what's worse is they would then post about it in other Facebook groups, and then it just snowballs and you get comment, bad comments, people saying their customer care is rubbish when it's not true, all of that kind of stuff. So actually, you just need to make them as happy as possible, that customer. So apologize. Don't even question. What I would do now, and this is what Lindsay and Laura used to do as well, who are the people that we used to have employed by us who used to look after our customers at customer care, is you acknowledge their concern. You then say, for best results, this is how to use our products. So you're telling them how to use them just in case they're not using them that way. And then say, I'm really sorry about this. Is there another fragrance of ours that you would like to try? And I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that way you're giving them the advice on how to use the products properly, just in case, as you said, but you're also making them happy by giving them another chance to try a scent for free. So you're hopefully going to get another fragrance in front of them that they are going to really enjoy and smell, and they're going to come back again because they're going to think that, wow, that was amazing customer service.
Exactly that. And you might listen to this and think, wow, I can't do that with all of them. And no, you shouldn't. But also, if you're doing the job properly, you won't have many of these people saying this anyway. If you're building that real community where people actually know you behind the brand, you'll find that actually they'll feel a little bit bad contacting you about this.
Yeah.
That's what we found. If you're just a faceless brand, then I'd have no problem at all sending an email saying this is rubbish. But actually, and bear in mind we were dealing with thousands and thousands of customers. The rate of us sending free things out to them to make them happy was so minimal. I think it was like maybe one a month.
That was one of the stats that we tracked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To make sure that we were doing the best that we could across customer care and across all of our dispatch and packaging and everything. So we know that we made sure that we kept that rate down.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's it. And to be honest, that's probably the answer for most of these questions. Just do what you can to make them as happy as possible and then just move on. Forget about it, move on. Try not to take it personally because it's not personal. You will always get tricky customers. You will always get people that think they can swindle you out of more products. That will always happen because there are some nasty people about. But you just deal with them as they come.
And there's more lovely people out there who want to be your fantastic customers than not.
Absolutely.
Okay. Question number 2. Customers claiming a faulty product, but you suspect they misuse the product. How do you deal with that, especially when they're not cooperating and giving you evidence?
So again, there's two options here. The first one is to apologize, move on, send them a replacement product. Okay, that's option number 1, which will make them happy, which will get them out of your hair, and you just move on. However, I know that deep down you feel terrible for doing that because okay, and you can tell this sometimes, that they are trying their luck with you. So what you could do is ask them to return it. And we did this sometimes as well. You would say, I'm so sorry, about this. We'll happily replace this for you or refund you. What we ask is you to return it to us. Once we've returned it, we will refund you your postage cost. And then obviously send them out a replacement or whatever you're doing. Because then when you put that barrier in front of them, don't send them a label, don't send them a prepaid label, nothing like that. Because then once you've put that little barrier in front of them, we found that most people would actually just quieten down and just carry on and not bother doing it because they're too lazy to go to the post office and send this back. That's one way of doing it, okay? Now, I must stress, that's not the best customer care. But if you are really certain that this person is having you on, then you could do that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I would say, apologize, send them another product.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
It's all about making sure you've got the best customer care possible, isn't it? And keeping everybody happy, because negativity travels faster than positivity, doesn't it, in these sorts of situations?
Yeah, it really does. It really does. So if you do ask them to return it, then do it in the most polite way and just say, yeah, this is our terms. Return it. We will refund you your postage cost up to a maximum of like £4 or whatever you want to do. Yeah, that's the way to do it. But ultimately, I know this is really hard, and I'm finding it difficult to even say it because I used to hate this. But sometimes you need to just be like, right, okay, negativity spreads faster. I'm just going to send them another product. You know?
Because at the end of the day, typically your products are going to be where you've got the most margin in anyway. And if you're able to keep that customer happy by sending them a product again, you're hopefully then going to have a long-term customer.
Yeah.
It's about that long-term gain, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. If they're happy to receive a replacement, send them a replacement. If they're demanding a refund, then I'd say get that product back first.
Yeah.
Because then there's that little barrier that might put them off.
Very good. Question 3. Customers returning products within the statutory returns period, but they're not in a resellable condition and they're blaming the seller for the damage. How do you deal with that?
They're blaming the seller for the damage.
Yeah.
So
they received they're saying they received a broken product or a damaged product, and then they're returning it within the time limit. So but it's not in a resellable condition or a reusable condition.
that's one of those ones where you've just got to suck it up, and you've either got to replace it or refund them. I mean, it is. There's what else are you going to do? Go back and forwards and say you broke it? No, you broke it. I did this. I did that. I mean, what else can you do?
You can't prove anything, and it's not worth your time arguing with somebody who doesn't want to argue with you either, and you can just refund them, resend them another product, and then just move on.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it. Is always try your best and push for sending them a replacement.
Yeah.
Not a refund. Most people are more than happy with that. Or instead of sending that product, you could send some wax melts or a candle or something to the value of it, whatever. Yeah, but otherwise, replace or refund. I mean, it's as simple as that, really.
Yeah. And you want to then move on to working on something else instead that's more positive and it's going to have a better impact on your business.
Yeah, the way to think about it is if it was you and you bought something from, I don't know, an online retailer of some description, Amazon, and it arrived and it was broken and you sent it back and they said, well, no, it wasn't broken when it left us. Here's proof of it. Can you send proof that it arrived broken? And they ask you all these questions. You'd be like, whoa, hang on a minute. What the hell? Why am I being asked this for? I just want to return this item that's faulty. Oh, I'm going to leave them a 1-star review.
Exactly. And then that can easily spread.
Exactly. So that's not what you want at all. So just keep it simple, refund, grit your teeth whilst you're doing it, and move on.
Yep. And sometimes if it is a product that has arrived broken, and even if you suspect it hasn't arrived broken, you can then also review your processes as well. Think, okay, how have I packaged that up? Is there any way I can do better? And you can also say that to the customer as well, Don't necessarily say, oh, I'm so sorry, it's my fault I've done this. But you could say, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm now going to look into the packaging of these products to make sure that they're as good as they can possibly be. So that not only are you apologising, giving them their replacement, but you're also looking into processes to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, next question. What do you do when customers are trying to scam you?
Okay, so this is, I mean, that's quite a broad one, really, in the scan you in what way? I mean, this happened to us where we've been told that a customer received a product and the package was empty. There was nothing in it.
Yeah.
And that does happen from time to time. I mean, this is extremely rare.
It is.
But we did have that, didn't we? So we used to sell these buy one, get one free boxes, little sort of A6 size boxes. So 2 of them, and we'd put them inside a A4 envelope, padded envelope, sealed up with a bit of tape over it, and then the postage over the top. Now, when you have collections from Royal Mail and stuff like this, everything, you have to assign your weights and everything to the packages. And then it goes through Royal Mail and they confirm the weight and all this kind of stuff. So when someone sent us a photo of just this empty padded envelope with no tape on the back, and we knew that we taped everything up, we knew that this was someone that was trying to pull a fast one. I mean, it was just me and Tamer working in the business. And if you're listening to this now and you're packing orders and you haven't got a huge amount of orders to pack, but when you're packing them during the day, you put a lot of care and attention into those. There's no way in hell you're going to send out a completely empty envelope to someone. You know this, but you have to try and prove it, don't you?
Yeah.
So luckily we had the weight records from Royal Mail. And also, when you actually zoomed in on this photo, you could see the imprint of the boxes through the
You could.
through the
I
thing.
remember this one, exactly remember this one, yeah. We're sitting there looking at it like, you can see them.
Yeah.
You can see the imprint of the boxes.
Yeah, exactly. So I think with that person, we literally said that, didn't we? We were like, hang on, come on, look, you can see the boxes on there. We can see this has been recorded at the right way, and we can see the imprint of the boxes. So I'm afraid we're not going to be sending you anything back.
Yeah.
Those kind of ones, when you know they are, as long as you, not the gut feeling, no, you have to know for certain that they're trying to scam you.
You have to be able to prove it.
I think I might be wrong here. You might say differently, but in my opinion, I'd call them out on it. If you know for certain and you've got evidence, you say that's incorrect. Here's what actually happened. Here's the facts. Then I think you can call them out on it.
Yeah. I'd be happy with that because you can show the evidence, you can prove it, but so long as you word it in a friendly way, really, you want to make sure that you're answering everything politely and calmly as well, because I know it's your own business and everything is very personal, but you need to kind of remove yourself a little bit from there and don't react like really negatively and aggressively or anything like that. You need to be calm, cool and collected, because you have to remember that, like I said earlier, the negativity spreads really quickly and you don't want somebody to take something out of context and then share it everywhere.
That's very true. That's very true, because we did have that a few times, and then people think that we have bad customer care, which is complete opposite. So yeah, you do have to be mindful of that, and you will get people that try and scam you. You will. We had we went through a phase. I can't remember when it was, maybe 21, where our subscription, we were going through a phase of wanting to up our members. So we did first month for £1, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sign up, get your first box for £1. And we had this one person who would sign up 6 or 7 times in the month.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't renew. So the first month she signed up, it was different names, but to the same address. And we thought, okay, bit strange, but maybe it's a customer who lives in a house share and all of the rooms, they love it. They really like the stuff. Guess what happened the next month? None of them renewed.
Yeah.
And then what happened? They signed up again, all of these different ones. So all I did there, I emailed and said, what's happening here? Didn't get any response. So then every time now we had a little hit list, or we had a little list now of customers that if they signed up, this was on the dressers as well, using this £1 offer, would just cancel their subscription and refund them that £1 straight away.
Yeah.
Because we just did not want them to, because we knew it wasn't going to renew. We knew that they were trying to scam us out of some products, because that's what they're doing. And you will get this, okay? We talk a lot about running no-brainer offers to attract new customers, okay? And it's when you do those kind of offers that you attract these low-life, scummy people. That's true, though.
It's true.
Where they're like, oh, look at this. I can get something free here. I reckon if I buy that and tell them I didn't receive the free item, they'll send me another one. You'll get people that do that all the time. There'll be so many people that do that. Thankfully, they are far exceeded by the genuine customers.
Yeah.
But every now and then, you will get people that try their luck and do stuff like that. So just stand firm, I think.
Yeah, stand firm, refund it, refuse to serve them because they're not your ideal customer.
Yeah.
They're not actually a nice person either. So it's just not worth it. Just refund them. It's at first, especially send an email, say why you've done it, and part ways.
Yeah. And these sort of scam ones, you can sniff them out a mile away as well. I found that anyway after a little while.
Yeah, you can pick it up after a little while, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just try not to dwell on them too much. Just like you say, make that list, mark them, and then just move on.
Well, at first I was quite disheartened by it. Then I was incredibly angry. I was like, we sweat. Oh, we go crazy and work so hard making these products.
Sure.
And and fulfilling these customers. We're working so hard in our business. How dare you try and scam us out of some of our products, our money, things that me and my wife have made? You know what? You know how angry that can make you feel. And if you're listening to this, you'll probably, and you're going through this, you probably feel the same sort of way. So yeah,
Talking about it, it does take me back because I can just remember you sitting there and being really angry at the computer. And it's like, oh, I'll just stay out here. I'll leave him to deal with this.
I recorded a video on it, didn't I? And as part of one of our vlogs that we used to do on our YouTube channel, I was talking about how angry I was. Okay.
Yeah.
But then after a while, you just get thick skin, you get used to it. You know the people are scumbags, and you will get people that do that. So then you just get rid of them and just move on, basically.
Yeah. And then focus on the really lovely, positive customers. Go back to your Facebook group and read all the lovely reviews.
Exactly that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Customers leaving untrue reviews, or even worse, when you suspect a competitor is leaving a negative review to undermine your business. How do you deal with this?
That's what there's two there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Customer leaving an untrue review. You definitely want to do a public response to that review, but you don't want to do what I did a few times, but I learned my lesson, is respond emotionally. You just want to, you don't get into but you did this, you did that, and blah, 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 blah. You want to just respond factually.
Yeah.
You know, if it's untrue, you just say, well, sorry, whatever her name is, this is what happened. This is our record of what happened. Really sorry you feel that way. Please get in touch and we can resolve it for you.
Yeah.
Keep it short, simple, but get your point across.
And it also, because you've put what's actually happened out there as well, it means other people that are reading this review can read the negative review, read your response, see how you've dealt with it, not just the way you've worded it, but also the real evidence in there as well.
Yeah.
And then they can make up their own mind, like, okay, so maybe this person isn't telling the truth, because then that they won't be put off by that negative review.
Yeah. And if you suspect it's a competitor, the first thing I'd say is whatever email address and name they've used to place that review, have a look to see if they've actually placed an order with you. If they haven't, then flag it to Google or flag it to Trustpilot and say, because when you do that, especially with Trustpilot, if you flag a review, Trustpilot will ask that person to send them evidence that they've actually bought from you.
Yeah.
Or evidence that they've actually engaged with you. So they'll want to see order receipts or email communications, that kind of thing. And if they don't respond, they'll remove the review.
Yeah, because they can't verify it's a real review.
Exactly. So that's what you should do in that instance.
Yeah.
And I don't think so anyway, maybe we did, I don't know. But I don't recall ever having a negative review from someone we suspected to be a competitor of ours.
Not a negative review. I did very much suspect that we'd been reported to trading standards by a competitor.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But
that's the kind of, that's the wax world can be it's really, I never expected this, but it can be quite bitchy.
yeah,
And it's all this tit for tat between different wax mill makers. I'm like, crikey, if you put half the effort into your own business, marketing your business, than what you do trying to take my business down,
yeah,
you might actually get some orders yourself.
I know, it was so surprising, wasn't it?
Yeah. But that's fine, we don't mind people doing that. Well, we do. We don't want it to happen. But, when you're running a proper company with proper processes, it's not a problem, is it?
No,
But looking at the reviews, yeah, you can flag those and you can get those removed if you suspect they're wrong.
exactly. Okay. Next, for anyone selling abroad, how to handle complaints and returns relating to customers not understanding how tariffs work, or just deciding that tariffs makes their order too expensive. So we did have customers in United States, didn't we? We had a regular customer from Hawaii, didn't we?
So I don't understand the question. Are they saying that these people aren't ordering, or they've placed an order but then realised it was too expensive?
I would say that they've placed an order but then realising it's too expensive with the tariffs.
Refund it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else are you going to do?
Mm.
You can't force them to keep the order.
No.
Refund it.
We did have, like I said, we had a customer that ordered very regularly from Hawaii, and with all the postage costs and the tariffs and everything, we actually set her a threshold, didn't we?
Yeah.
And said that to make it worth our while and your while, you're going to have to pay, or you're going to spend X amount to actually make the purchase.
Yeah, exactly. And I imagine people listening to this, they might get the odd order from overseas, and that's it. And honestly, because of these tariffs and because of the postage costs, it's hardly worth your time. So I would really, and there's so many people in the UK, more than enough for you to have a wonderful business. I'll just focus on the UK.
Yep, and it makes things simpler from a CLP point of view as well.
Yeah.
Only sticking to selling in your own country. You only got to stick to your own rules then.
When you've scaled up and you're the size of, I don't know, maybe we were at Cozy Roamers, and you want like the next level of growth, then you can really think about overseas. And if I was going to do overseas, which we actually did consider in USA, because we got quite a lot of interest. And whenever we did target USA, we got some orders.
Yeah.
But of course, there's the postage of over there. And this might sound a bit extreme, but if you want to do it, this is what I'd do, because we were actually thinking of it, is have a storage unit or a dispatch or some kind of fulfillment center in the USA, where you would make your products up, make a container worth of products, send it over to that fulfillment company, and then they ship the orders from there. So you have a USA branch of your website or a USA website. When people order it, they're only paying domestic pricing for shipping because it's being shipped within the United States, and you're sending your products over in bulk. That's what I'd do. That's how you get rid of that. But that's massive. That's future growth.
Yeah, that's very big scale, that one. So typically just stick to the UK postage for now.
Yeah.
Okay. So next question. Handling customers who are complaining but still buying from you. What exactly would you consider is too much, and when to put a customer on a do not serve list?
So when you say complaining, are they complaining to you, or are they complaining in other wax melt groups, complaining online? Let's assume the latter, where they're complaining in other wax melt groups and stuff like that. You don't want to rock that boat, because if they're doing that, if you decide you're not going to serve them anymore, they will go off on one.
Yeah.
They really will. We had that.
We did.
Because we had customers that would buy from us all the time, but then I don't know, I don't understand what goes through people's head. This is what's so frustrating to me. But then if there was another post in another wax mail group saying, "Oh, I bought these from Cozy Roamers, I really didn't like them," that person would comment on there say, "Oh, I stopped using them months ago." And when we'd see those comments, we'd then have a look in their orders, and they ordered 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And they consistently order.
I can see the exact thing happening. I know exactly one person that used to do that regularly, and it's like confusing.
Why are you doing that? Why? I don't understand. Why do you just like gossip?
They must do.
But honestly, I just wouldn't. It's a really tricky one, that is, because you don't want to serve them. But if you don't serve them, they will cause a mess. We had one customer, they started their own wax mill group,
Yeah.
which was against us. A whole group against us. And they're trying to get people to just to bitch and moan about us. And that kind of thing happens. You know, when you get more attention on you, when you grow, when you're putting adverts out there all the time, when you're vulnerable by putting yourself on camera all the time, you're going to get negative comments and you're going to get negative people. You know, if we're sending out 200 odd orders a day, so you can imagine the amount of people that saw us on a daily basis, our brand. You're not gonna please everyone. You're just not, and you will get negativity, especially in this wax melt world, which is unreal.
Yeah.
It's just a real tricky one. But yeah, if someone's complaining in other groups about you, I would maybe send them a direct message or an email and just say, "I just want to check in." Nothing accusational at all. I just want to make sure everything's okay, because I've noticed, you seem to be a little bit unhappy with some of the things we're doing. Is there anything I can do to improve or make you happy? Something really nice like that. Because if you word it ever so slightly negatively, they will screenshot that and they will share it in those groups.
And we know that from experience.
So you have to be very careful. But if there is a customer that you don't want to serve anymore for whatever reason, like we had before, didn't we? We did. It gets to a point where you just don't want to serve them. We literally just told them. We just said, "Sorry, look, we're a small family-run company, and we just don't feel like we're a good fit, and we don't particularly want to serve you anymore." You probably word that a bit better. You can use ChatGPT to come up with a nice answer, but then just don't serve them anymore.
Yep.
Flows their account. They will get upset. They will get very upset about this. So this is a last resort, but only if it's more damaging for them to be a customer than what it is for them to mention something online. But try to avoid that if you can. I mean, you're not going to stop them placing orders, because they could quite easily order under a different name to their work address. People could do that. But otherwise, if you really want to, just close their account down on Shopify and let them know that you're not serving them anymore. Please don't place another order, otherwise it'll be refunded. But that is like if you receive that message from someone, that would get your back up.
Yeah, that is super last resort.
Yeah.
So we only reserved that for the worst case scenarios, and
That was like 2 or 3 people, wasn't it?
yeah, and I remember the worst ones were like abusive language and things like that to our team and stuff, and that was terrible. So some people you just have to walk away from, but that's okay. Okay. Next, what is the standard or an acceptable percentage of returns? Obviously, the lower the better, but we're not living in an ideal world.
No. And I don't think, to be honest, if you're doing a good job, which you will be, percentage is like, it's almost the wrong, because it's so small. It's like a 0.0 point,
Yeah.
something tiny. To give an idea, I mean, we were sending out 5,000 parcels a month, and not even one a month did we refund.
No, because we tracked the numbers in our weekly meetings, didn't we?
Like, nothing, was it? In terms of
was-
refunds and stuff.
Tiny percentage, under 1%.
Well, no. I'm saying in terms of numbers,
Oh, sorry, no.
actual numbers.
Yeah.
It was like, we probably didn't even do one a month, maybe one every 2 months, where a customer was so unhappy they wanted a refund.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very tiny
You're thinking about,
replacements and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
things that have gotten lost in the post, which is normal.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff happens. But in terms of someone who receives something, they're so unhappy they wanted a refund. I mean, it's like, if you're sending out 100 orders a month, you'll probably, like, one every 6 months.
Yeah.
See,
That was very rare.
yeah. I mean, the products are good because you've gone through that testing phase. You're packaging the products up yourself, so you know that they're going to arrive okay unless raw mail jump up and down on them. I mean, people aren't going to, and these are wax masks, these are, or candles, these are things that people use. It's not like an item you have in your home that is faulty for whatever reason. I mean,
It's very rare that
they're not
it's
going to be
gonna
faulty, are they? It's always going to be subjective.
Yeah.
The only reason a candle could be faulty is if you didn't center the wick properly and it was tunneling down one side or whatever, but then you wouldn't send the candle out like that because you're running a proper business and you have proper quality checks. So yeah, it's so rare.
Yeah, it is very rare. So there's not really an acceptable percentage because
Normal e-commerce, so when you're just like, let's say an Amazon, something like that, they'll have a much higher return rate. I've done some research into this, and it's like 20% to 30% of customers of everything that's bought online, it ends up being returned. But that is, you think, what's that one that was in the news recently that stopped doing free returns?
I don't know.
That clothing company. Is it Boohoo? No.
Oh, Boohoo might have been.
So I don't know, something like that anyway, where people just buy their clothes for a weekend, wear them, and then send them back.
Yeah.
They've got a huge, very high return rate. But these faceless companies as well will have that. But if you are building a community of people and a close-knit community like we teach, like we talk about, like we did, you're on camera, you're on photos, you're talking to people, they're not going to want to return their stuff, even if they're unhappy with it. They're not going to demand a refund. They'll talk to you and say, look, they'll send you a private message or an email and say, look, I didn't want to post this publicly in the group. We had this before. We don't want to post this, but I'm having this problem with this candle. I'm having this problem with this wax melt. And then you just deal with it in the way we've spoken about, where you send them something.
Yeah. Good customer care should always come first. Be polite, be friendly, be helpful, and try to resolve the issue in the way where they get another product and they've got a happy experience all the way through. So then if they do have a problem with anything in the future or they want to ask a question or anything, they'll come directly to you first.
I think, and I'm only saying this based on our experience with this, but in my opinion, if you are sending out less than 1,000 orders a month and you're getting at least one demand for a refund a month, I'd suggest you need to just have a little look at exactly what those queries are, what those issues are, and how you can fix it. Because even though that's 1 in 1,000, that's hardly anything. To me, that's
Too high.
well, we didn't have it. Like I said, I'm talking based on our experience. We had one every couple of months, and that's based on 8 to 10,000 orders going out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my feeling on that.
And you can always look at the processes that you're doing and see if there's anything that you can improve on, because you can always improve on everything, can't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is all of our questions for today's episode.
Good. That was all right, wasn't it?
That was,
Right.
yeah.
I feel like I repeat myself so many times there, where I'm just saying, make sure the customer's happy, send them something, replace them or refund them. But ultimately, that could be seen as quite negative, that episode, because we're talking about negative stuff and how to react to it. But this is all really rare.
Yeah.
These unhappy customers, if you're making good products and you've got good dispatch times and you stock products, you don't make to sell, make to order, things like that, it's going to be so rare. You're not going to find this happens that often. But when it does happen, and it will, make sure you do everything in your power to please that customer.
Yeah. Because you want them to return, you want them to have a positive experience all the way through, even when they're struggling with something.
Even if they don't return. And if they're really unhappy, they won't return. But if you resolve it in the best possible outcome for them, at least they won't talk negatively about you online, because that's the stuff they can spread like wildfire.
Certainly can.
Okay, that's it then. That's episode 30.
Yep.
Thank you very much indeed for listening or watching if you're on YouTube.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to leave us a review as well.
Head over to homefragrance.academy to take a look at what we do. Perhaps become a member or have a look at some of our learning packs we've got available. Join our Facebook community, which is a Home Fragrance Academy community. Come and chat with us on a day-to-day basis. Thanks again for listening, and we will speak to you in next week's episode.
Yep. See you soon, guys.